Hello and welcome. My name is Zuzana and I am a Salesforce MVP and the author of AmpScript.io, an online AmpScript editor with syntax validation. In this short video, I'm going to show you how AmpScript loops work and how to use an AmpScript loop in a Salesforce Marketing Cloud email. In this video, we will cover the following scenario. We have a table with items that your customers have purchased in your online store, and we want to send each one of them an order confirmation email with a list of items they bought. You could potentially achieve this in AmpScript without the use of loops, but the script would become very complicated and hard to troubleshoot. The main problem that AmpScript loops solve is being able to execute the same script repeatedly, without knowing beforehand how many times the script should run. Listing all relevant items in an email for each of your customers would be a very tedious task if we weren't going to use a loop, and the script could become very long and error-prone. With the help of AmpScript loops, you can build a reusable, dynamic email and process the data for each customer in a very efficient way, no matter how many items need to be processed. Let's take a look at a definition of a loop. While other programming languages offer different kinds of loops, in AmpScript we can only use one type of loop, the for loop. In general, a loop is an instruction that repeats until a specified condition is reached. Each time a loop runs is called an iteration. For loops are typically used when the number of iterations is known before entering the loop. That's why in AmpScript, the condition evaluated in a loop is whether a predefined number of iterations has already been reached. In this example, we set the starting index as 1 and the ending index as 10. The loop will run and execute the code inside the loop 10 times, until the condition no longer evaluates to true. Each AmpScript loop has 6 elements: an opening for statement, a loop counter with a starting index expression, a direction keyword indicating whether the loop should count up or down, an ending index expression, which can be a predefined number or a variable, a do keyword, and a next keyword. You are not required to add the counter variable name after the next keyword, but it can come in handy, especially if you are working with more advanced nested loops. In our scenario, we will be working with 2 data extensions: a sendable data extension called Customers that holds unique customer IDs and their email addresses, and a non-sendable data extension called Orders that holds the names of items ordered by our customers along with their customer IDs. The data extensions are related to each other on customer ID, and the relationship is one-to-many, which means that for each customer in the customer's data extension, we can have multiple items in the orders data extension. The counter is the most important part of the loop, as it defines how many times the script inside the loop should be executed. In order to define the counter, we need to set the criteria to find all the matching items in our orders data extension. We will use the lookupRows function to look up all rows that match the ID of each customer that we want to send the email to. Then, we will use the rowCount function to determine how many results were found for each customer. The output of the rowCount function will be our counter, and it will define how many times the script inside the loop will be repeated. In our scenario, the counter will equal 2 for the first customer, 1 for the second customer, and 3 for the third customer. The script inside the loop, in each iteration, will process data from a separate row and display it in our email. For the first customer, the script inside the loop will run twice, and in each run display each of the 2 items that the customer bought. For the second customer, the script inside the loop will run and display the data just once, because this customer bought just 1 item. And for the third customer, the script inside the loop will run 3 times, and in each run display each of the 3 items that this customer bought. Let's now write the script that I just outlined and test it in a subscriber preview in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. In Salesforce Marketing Cloud, I have already created a very simple order confirmation email with a placeholder for the script. I also have my 2 data extensions: the customer's data extension with customer IDs and email addresses, and the orders data extension with the names of items ordered by our customers, along with their customer IDs. I could write the script directly in the email, but instead I will use AmpScript.io, as it will nicely highlight my script and make it easier to read and write, and it will warn me in real time about syntax problems in my script. I will start with setting a value for the customer ID variable. I will use the attribute value function to pull the customer ID from my sendable data extension. Then I will set a rows variable. I will use the lookup rows function to find all the matching rows in the orders data extension that match on the customer ID. Next, I will set a row count variable. I will use the row count function to see how many rows were found. We can now start with the loop. First, let's set our counter. We want the loop to run as many times as many rows were found for each of the customers in the orders data extension. That's why we will set the starting index expression to 1 and the ending index expression to the outcome of our row count function. Each time the loop runs, we want to pull one row from all the rows that were found for our customer, and we want to display the name of the item. In the next iteration, the counter will be increased by 1 and will pull the next item from our row set. Don't forget to include the next keyword at the end of your loop. That's it. We can now copy the script from AmpScript.io and paste it into our email. I will now use a subscriber preview to preview what the email will look like for each of the customers. You can now see that for the first customer, the email displays 2 items. For the second customer, it displays 1 item, and for the last customer, it displays 3 items. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe to get notified about new videos on the AmpScript.io YouTube channel.